Okay, last but not least, why geo is still relevant. Richard Snaith from Intelsat London.
Good afternoon, everyone. Very conscious that I'm the last on, so I'll try to be even faster than the last presenter. Although the title is about geo, I really wanted to talk about a few things today, and it's about opportunity, and it's about transformation. And it's about transformation in the way which we go about business as an industry. We really feel that there are some significant changes that need to happen to effectively unlock the opportunity that the industry now faces. So a little bit about Intelsat. I'm sure you all know who we are. We're a global satellite operator. We run 50-plus satellites, geostationary traditional, with C-band and Ku-band Y-beams, but also the world's first HTS Ku-band platform, which we've had in operation for some time now. Geo is still relevant. Geo will still continue to be extremely important in the networks of tomorrow because of the densification that it offers within the wider satellite ecosystem. Market analysts predict that out of the global satellite payload market, 21.8 billion by 2025, geo will still be a majority of that contribution. We'll be driving applications in all vertical markets, but in the high demand, high speed growth markets around mobile traffic, media, government, and other enterprise applications. Sometimes we tend to forget what satellite is good at, and especially geostationary satellite has some strengths that can be leveraged into the future of more intelligent networks. Ubiquitous coverage is a given, and it really shouldn't be taken as a given. We should remember as an industry, we can get to all of the hard-to-reach places. As long as they can see the sky, they get the same quality of service wherever they are. We also have a consistent service from site to site. So when you have an enterprise client with a very widely dispersed network, he knows that he will have consistent access to service throughout his network. This is something that a wide-beam satellite is extremely good for. And it's a learning that we've had through the deployment of our EPIC system in that HTS spot beams don't necessarily suit every application. Sometimes wide beams work. So in the networks of the future, what we perceive will be a layering of capability and capacity, both HTS and wide beam on top of each other, then adding under that other constellations, which will give better latency performance, to give a really homogeneous application-based network. One thing I should say is everyone likes to see a demo, so we've got outside with our friends at Profen and with STS Global a little 45 centimeter Ku-band terminal, which if you feel like it, we can put a live demo up for you on IS-33E, which is one of our HTS satellites, which is running 10 megabits plus in both directions on that little 45 centimeter. That's just a clue to some of the things that you can still do with HTS GEO satellites. So we see GEO as absolutely critical as part of a layered connectivity solution for the future. GEO's here to stay, and we will continue to refine and improve on the GEO satellite ecosystem. So let's talk about a bit about opportunity. We've heard a lot about opportunity from different speakers, and it's true that our industry is facing a tremendous opportunity across multiple vertical markets as the Internet of Things explodes and every user in the world is demanding more and more throughput from their mobile devices and from their fixed broadband. Satellite is really well placed to pick up additional revenue and growth opportunity from this opportunity and growth, but we've got to do it in a different way, and we'll talk a bit about that a bit later when I start talking about transformation. But we still need to look at what satellite does really well and the opportunities that we can apply that to. But we need to get away from being a connectivity-based business. We need to be really focusing on applications and user experiences and giving people a seamless and coherent connectivity solution, not presenting them with an engineering challenge, which for a long time in my career, with a long career in satellite, has been a fault, I think, for most service providers and satellite operators in making it someone else's problems to make an end-to-end solution work, which then end up being not optimized and leading to bad experiences and customers not being happy with satellite. So video in markets is a huge opportunity for us, in mobile markets especially. So if you look at the forecasts here, by 2022, 82% of global mobile traffic will be video. Mobile speeds will typically be 3 times faster than they are today, and the average consumption per smartphone will be 21 gigabytes per month. That's a huge amount of traffic, and it's happening all over the world in very difficult places to access. Can satellite realistically grab much of this market? I think yes. And the reasons are, as I explained earlier, there are some unique benefits to satellite connectivity in the regions that it can address economically, suitably, and quickly. We've been doing a lot. I'll give you a couple of examples. We're doing a lot of work in Africa over the last 12 or 18 months with our HTS Ku-band network, servicing sites that have never had mobile connectivity. None. And in fact, our partner who is driving this growth, Africa Mobile Networks, is a specialist in 2G cellular-only deployments, and they're rolling out thousands of these sites across Africa where there has never been connectivity. And they're doing it in the lowest ARPU countries on the planet, and they're doing it profitably. They're even now backfilling with 3G networks where we deployed 2G networks with, again, very challenging ARPUs, but they're making it work. And the impact on these communities is absolutely transformational. It's one of my favorite projects, but it's also a fantastic opportunity in terms of unlocking new revenues in new markets. Another example is mobility. You're never going to get a fiber to a plane. It doesn't matter how hard you try, it's not going to happen. And the future user expectations of seamless service and service quality are only really going to be satisfied by the improving satellite capabilities. If you think about a user who has his 5G connected phone, he's streaming all the way from his house to the airport, he gets on the plane and it stops, that's not going to be acceptable. There's going to have to be a better broadband solution on board aircraft to satisfy that user community of the future, and it will happen. I think other use cases for satellite in mobile networks, in terms of technical and architecture-based, looking at things like delivery of content to the edge of networks is absolutely critical. When you're thinking about software-defined networks and the expectations of application performance and responsiveness to end users, network bypass via satellite is a really interesting application. We've been doing numerous trials and tests with CDN bypasses, and we believe that there is significant opportunity in this area. Let's just take a step back and look at some of these statistics again. It really is quite striking, the scale of the opportunity that is out there for us. By 2022, video is going to be 80% of total mobile data traffic, and a lot of these will be streams that could be multicast to the edge, not unicast per handset. There'll be 12.3 billion connected devices. I mean, that's just a crazy number. And as earlier presenters have said, look, we only need to capture a relatively small amount of this growth to basically double or triple the revenues of the satellite industry on a global basis. 216 billion on IoT by 2022 in Europe. That's just crazy. And the great thing about that kind of traffic is it's perfectly suited to the type of TDMA access systems that satellites excel at. But how are we going to get there? And this is the transformation that I was talking about. We don't believe really the way in which we currently approach the market is really going to give us a convincing and coherent story to our terrestrial network partners, the people who are building the cloud and SDN networks of the future. They need to have a much more coherent partner from satellite systems in order to come up with a convincing end-to-end total network solution. So at Intelsat, we see that in terms of our own house, a two-step transformation. One is on the satellite side, in terms of the satellites that we launch, their capabilities and technology. but also then looking at the entire satellite ecosystem. That's not just the satellite technology, that's the modem technology, that's the antenna technology. It's paying more attention to applications, and it's really about standardization, simplification, and scaling. Unless we get simplification and scaling correct in our industry, we will not capture the growth that we could potentially capture from all of these booming markets. So what's first? From us, it will be EPIC 2.0, as my American colleagues like to call it. I'll just call it EPIC 2, but that's not on message. But basically, we will take our learning from the last generation of digital satellites, but we'll be making them fully digital in the next iteration. So instead of having a fixed spot beam architecture with power redeployment capability, we're talking about beamforming on the fly, we're talking about power reallocation, we're talking about capacity reallocation. And that obviously fits very nicely into the software-defined networks of the future. And flexibility is absolutely the key to the future of satellites. We can't paint ourselves into a corner with inflexible and fixed architectures. We need to flex with demand, and we need to flex with application demands. But then again, that's not the end of the story. I think we've also been guilty as an industry of just looking to the sky, when actually maybe it would make more sense to look at the end user terminal and end user applications and build backwards. So we're looking at our own teleport infrastructure on our terrestrial infrastructure and making those cloud and SDN ready. A couple of concepts that would be relevant here would be data centers or teleports as data centers, and also going back to the idea of intelligent architectures with edge caching in 5G networks. I'm going a lot slower than I hoped. Okay, so let's move on a bit quicker. So how do we solve the problem in the future? I think along the flexible development of our satellite systems, we want interoperability, we want standardization, we want simplification. We would like the position where users could roam from one satellite constellation to another. We would like modem chipsets to be interoperable. We would like antenna systems that can access multiple frequencies simultaneously. We would like antenna systems that could access multiple constellations, be them LEO, MEO, or GEO, simultaneously to give application-based routing, latency path-based routing. It's all about a standards-based approach. And again, people like Intelsat are involved in 3GPP in a way that we never have been involved with terrestrial stakeholders in the past, helping to shape the future acceptance of satellite into that ecosystem in a much more seamless manner. So just wrapping off very quickly, what does that look like? So we would like to see the network of tomorrow as a much more coherent, multi-service approach from satellite, where you would have constellations complementing each other, bringing density, different latency performance, and different coverage performance, but accessible on an easy basis. Ease of access and scalability is key, and it has to be seamlessly integrated into the terrestrial networks of the future. It's no good doing half the job. We have to be able to integrate to a point that there is application assurance, and I'm talking about software application assurance across the network, satellite and ground-based. It shouldn't be an engineering challenge or perceived as a second-class solution or an unoptimized solution for the future. It needs to be perceived as an optimized solution, and we should play to our strengths in this place. So in summary, I think it's really, there's a lot of talk about networks of the future, opportunity, and satellite, different parts of the satellite ecosystem with new developments. I think some more coordination is needed, and I would hope there would be more collaboration for us to address this market opportunity together, because I think together we will realize more value. Thank you very much.
Thank you.